Hey guys, this is Double D in the Friday Morning episode 42. The history of cartoons, the story of Butch Hartman. He was born on January 10th, 1957 in Highland Park, Michigan, and his birth name was Elmer Earl Hartman IV. He picked up the name Butch as a kid, and it just stuck. And in this video about him, I'm going to talk about his years of being an in-between artist for movies like Don Bluth's American Tail, till his eventual work on What a Cartoon Show with Fred Seibert and Oh Yeah Cartoons with Fred Seibert, to his work on the Nicktoons, Fairly OddParents, Tough Puppy, Bunsen is a Beast, Danny Phantom, and his leaving the network of Nickelodeon in 2018 to form his Noob network. He later in life got a Bachelor of Art degree at Cal Arts. It was a Bachelor of Fine Arts, to be more precise. His first animation job while he was still at Cal Arts was an in-betweener on Don Bluth's American Tail. Shortly after graduating, he was temporarily hired on the 1980s show My Little Pony, but was fired because he was hired as a storyboard artist and he didn't know how to do those as well at the time. Afterwards, he found work on It's Punky Brewster, an animated version of the show Punky Brewster, and Dink the Dinosaur. In the late 80s and early 90s, he was hired by Hanna-Barbera to be an artist model for their model department. While working at Hanna-Barbera from 1991 to 1983, he was the character designer on Tom and Jerry Kids, the show. He also was a character designer in a successor show to Tom and Jerry Kids called Droopy Master Detective. This is Fred Seibert, the person who met Butch Hartman in the mid-90s and the creator of the What a Cartoon Show, and the same person that would go on to co-produce his cartoons with him, with his Federation network. This is the logo for the short subject show, the first one that Fred created, What a Cartoon, for Cartoon Network, because at the time he was the president of animation for Cartoon Network. And this is the show that was the predecessor to the Cartoons. This is the title card for one of the shorts he created for the What a Cartoons, Gramps, a Abe Simpson-like grandpa that told outlandish stories that were very unbelievable to his grandkids. And here is a still image after he takes the game out and when he starts to tell the story. And here is a flashback image of him in the story. Another set of shorts that he created that wasn't picked up was Fish and Chip. This is the first one, Fish and Chip and Blammo the Clown, a psychotic circus clown that also moonlights as an explosive expert, or a psychotic pyrotechnic, if you will. The main flaw in both of these shorts are the two characters themselves. They're bomb squad people that work for the local police in the universe, but they're the flaw. They don't know how to disarm bombs at all. And chaos ensues when Blammo ends up back at the police station with them. This is the title card for his second short that also didn't get picked up for a show. Fish and Chip never got picked up. About a 1920s, 1930s, crudely drawn but comically at the same way, person called Short Fuse that is the antagonist of this one. They go around just like in the first one, not being able to disarm the bombs. But hilarity ensues when this one also follows them back to the police station, and all kinds of chaos just gets ensued. This is the third Cartoon Network What a Cartoon short that he was involved in. He didn't create this one, but he was a director on it, Hillbilly Blue. It's a short about a smart mudbug, or crawdad, if you will, and a dumb hillbilly rat character named Eustace and Mordecai. He sees this flyer for this fancy Louisiana restaurant, and he does heck over high water to get there, only to find out that he's the main course at the restaurant. And the fancy living brochure is because it's a fancy tire restaurant. But in the end, the place gets shut down because of health code violations, and he gets saved. In 1998, Fred left Cartoon Network and went back into short subjects with Nickelodeon. By this time, Fred had made his Federation company, and he did a short subject show on Nickelodeon called Oh Yeah Cartoon. Once again, he got in touch with Butch Hartman. This is the Fairly OddParents pilot title card, which was the first Oh Yeah short. just simply called the Fairly OddParents. Young 10-year-old Timmy Turner is neglected by his neglectful parents and abused by his babysitter. So he goes to his room and wishes on his magic 9-ball. When will they be back? And it says Titanic Director's Cut. He said they'll be there all night. He cracks the 9-ball and out pop Cosmo and Wanda, his Fairly Godparents. Side note about the voice of Timmy, this is Mary Kay Bergman, the first voice of Timmy. 9 out of the 10 original Oh Yeah cartoons were redubbed by Tara Strong, but only 9 of them. They kept the original Mary Kay in one of them. I know which one they kept as Mary Kay, but guess and tell me in the comments, and I'll tell you if you're right. This is the second Oh Yeah cartoon short, Too Many Timmys. In this one, as usual, his parents neglectfully leave him with the evil Vicky babysitter. But both his parents and the babysitter are very, very demanding of him in this particular short, and wanting him to do everything and anything for chores and stuff. She's just kind of hamming it up and making it more difficult for him, as she does throughout the series itself. He wishes for a multitude of clones of himself, like 100 or plus, but is afraid that she'll get wise and has to eventually get him back to his bedroom to unwish them. Cosmo and Wanda go to a dance with Timmy, but Wanda misplaces her wand and all heck breaks loose. And this is the fourth short, Party of 3. Vicky finally gets proof of Cosmo and Wanda and takes pictures and tries to get the evidence back to his mom and dad. The anger is spurred with Vicky because he's finally realized that he's old enough to be without a babysitter, so they let him. But as she's peeking through the window, she finds pictures and evidence that she takes of Cosmo and Wanda. This is the fifth Oh Yeah cartoon Fairly OddParents short, The Fairy Flu, and it aired the same morning of May 1st, 1999, the day of the SpongeBob pilot, the pilot episode for the SpongeBob show. The plot of this short is he gets invited to Tootie's birthday, and it's the first episode to feature Tootie also. But Cosmo has the fairy flu, so he has to take Cosmo along as a balloon in disguise. But he inadvertently gives the fairy flu to Wanda, and they both end up going in disguise as the balloons, and they both end up having the fairy flu. Chaos ensues as they sneeze on everything, and everything gets into chaos because of their magic being messed up. And it turns out that the cure for the fairy flu is a tremendous amount of sauerkraut. So towards the end of the episode, Tootie and Timmy put sauerkraut in his pink and green balloons, which are Cosmo and Wanda. In the sixth short, The Temp, Cosmo and Wanda have to go to fairy boot camp for extra training. Unbeknownst to them, the Temp is actually a runaway Santa's toy elf up at the North Pole that doesn't enjoy being an elf and is moonlighting as a fairy. This is the seventh short called The Zappies, where they get nominated for the fairy godparent equivalent to the Emmys, but it's a magical award about how good they are as godparents called the Zappies. And when they receive the nomination in the mail, there's a continuity error with Where's the Wand. They say they've never won anything or been nominated for anything, but in Where's the Wand, they say they won their high school Halloween contest. In the eighth short, Scout's Honor, which is also the first appearance of Timmy Turner as a Squirrely Scout, he tries to get his mythical creature badge and tries to find Bigfoot. So he tells this to Cosmo and Wanda, and they tell him that that kind of stuff actually exists, but you can only see him with special glasses. And he puts the glasses on and realizes that Bigfoot exists, but he's just this big hairy hippie kind of guy. He sees this and leaves him there to live in peace in his hippie wonderland. And he eventually captures a Bigfoot type creature, which they eventually cage and give to the zoo, but it turns out to be Vicky in a monster disguise, who tries to scare Timmy. In the ninth short, called The Really Bad Day, it's a fairy tradition that for one day out of the year, every fairy is supposed to be inexplicably evil, and it's Cosmo's turn. But he's too nice and kind-hearted and doesn't know how to be bad. So they enlist the help of Genghis Khan, who turns him into Cosmo Khan. But then, Cosmo wants to blow up the Earth as his evil deed. Can he be stopped? Or will the Earth blow up? The 10th and final Oh Yeah cartoon short from the Fairly OddParents and Superhumor was the first episode to introduce the Crimson Chin, and it was about Timmy finding all these outlandish ways to be a superhero. Super speed, super strength, super this, super that, until he finally says he wants supervision. And Wanda asks him, "Are you sure that's what you want?" And then poof, he's with his parents because she says parental supervision is the best kind that there is. This last short aired on March 23rd, and the show was picked up 1 week later on March 30th, 2001. This is a promo poster for the main show that lasted from March 30th, 2001 to August 12th of 09 in its original run, but got picked back up from July 6, 09 to July 26, 2017. The show starred Tara Strong as an average 10-year-old boy, Timmy Turner, that no one understood. That was a bit selfish, but he could also be friendly and kind at times. That had very inattentive parents that weren't all that smart. Darren Norris, his dad. Susan Blakely was the voice of his mom, and they were just simply called Timmy's mom and Timmy's dad. Vicky, his babysitter, that was voiced by Grey Lyle Griffin. The three of them were the ultimate source of why he ended up with the godparents. As well as Vicky, he also has to deal with the bullyish Jorgen von Strangle, that is the leader of Fairy World, and also voiced by Darren Norris. Darren Norris and Susan Blakely, respectively, are also the voice of Cosmo and Wanda, the main fairy godparent character. Wanda acts as the voice of reason and the glue that holds the three of them together to Cosmo's childlike actions and Timmy Turner's 10-year-old childlike actions. The difference is Cosmo is just an over 1,000-year-old idiot. Later on in the show's run, in the 6th season and the 7th season, they added a baby character named Poof and a magical dog named Sparky to jump the shark, if you will. The show was lacking in ratings, so they added some characters. Poof was voiced by Tara Strong, while Sparky was voiced by Michael Taylor. His friends, Chester and AJ. Chester was voiced by Frankie Muniz and Jason Marsden. Chester is your stereotypical white trash, but good friend and good-hearted person. AJ is a black bald boy that is a genius at the school. From 2001 to 2003, he was voiced by Abraham Muhammad, and from 2003 to 2017, he was voiced by Gary Leroy Gray. Despite AJ being the brains at the school, he's still interested in typical 10-year-old stuff like comic books, Crush Nebula, Crimson Chin, things like that. The character has also been shown to be a bit of a perfectionist. Timmy Turner also has to do with Tootie, Vicky's younger sister, also voiced by Grey Griffin. A one-sided crush. She loves him, but he cannot stand her, but has been shown to be nice to her on occasion. The main antagonist of the show, other than Vicky, is Carlos Alexakis, Denzel Crocker. The story behind his feud with Timmy is he goes back to the 1970s with a time scooter, and he destroys Denzel Crocker's Cosmo and Wanda, because back in the 70s, Cosmo and Wanda were Denzel Crocker's fairies. But he finds out about it, and finds out that Timmy has fairies right before he goes back to the present. So that eats it inside of him forever in his life, and he becomes his internal foe for the rest of Timmy's life until 2017. And on Fairly OddParents, Fairly Odder. Timmy Turner had his own very one-sided crush on Trixie Tang, who was voiced by the Dodie Kwan, the same person that did the Kimmy Finster character on the Klasky Chupo show, The Rugrats, and All Grown Up. She was a rich, snobby girl, but she was also the prettiest girl in the school. But she couldn't stand him just because he was middle class. not popular based on the popular chart. This is the title card of his second show, The Danny Phantom Show. Danny Phantom was just 14 and went into his parents' strange machine and accidentally turns on the machine that they thought didn't work at first, but he goes in and turns it on, and then he becomes Danny Phantom, a half ghost, half person teenager that's a superhero that fights the evil demon-like ghosts that are coming out of the ghost zone. The show lasted 4 seasons from April 3rd of 04 to August 24th of 07. The voice of the main character, Danny Phantom, aka Danny Phantom, was David Kaufman. The main character that's the half person, half superhero. His best friend slash girlfriend, Sam Munson, is an ultra-recycled vegetarian, voiced by Grady Griffin, and a self-proclaimed goth chick. His other best friend is this black tech nerd, Tucker Foley, which is a mock-up of the names Chris Tucker and Alex Foley, the stand-up and the character from Beverly Hills Cop. He was voiced by Ricky Collins. His scatterbrained but yet mad scientist like dad was voiced by Rob Paulson. And his less scatterbrained, in fact 0% at all scatterbrained mom, Maddie Fenton, was voiced by Kath Soucie. And their college friend Vlad Masters, that's the main antagonist of the show, was voiced by Martin Mull. He contracted his ghost powers through something called ectoacne. That was an accident caused by Jack Fenton when he accidentally filled it with the wrong kind of stuff and turned his ghost porter prototype on, and it blasted ecto energy into Vlad's face. That particular character has 2 different names, Vlad Masters and Vlad Plasmius. One is his ghost name and one is his real name. This is the title card for his third show, Tough Puppy. The TUFF acronym, TUFF, stands for Turbo Underground Fighting Force. The show is a cartoonish parody of a James Bond type of thing. Stars Jerry Trainer as Dudley Puppy and Grady Griffin as Kitty Catswell, his partner. The Tough Puppy, Dudley's main antagonist is the Diabolical Order of Mayhem, and it is the League of Doom essentially on the show. Doom is the acronym for the Diabolical Order of Mayhem, and it's led by rats, shrews, gators, all kinds of evil people. And the Tough organization is led by dogs and cats and all the animals of justice in this uniform, in this universe. This is a universe of anthropomorphic animals similar to his other shows like Fish and Chips and stuff like that. The dog and the cat on the show, Dudley and Kitty Catswell, they're the heroes. And Jeff Bennett is the voice of the main rat or shrew on the show that's the main villain. The show is a big time parody of things like James Bond, Indiana Jones, that kind of stuff. The Tough organization is similar to your spy movies, but it's toned down and kind of dumbed down for kids. Towards the end of most episodes, Dudley and Kitty Catswell are tied up in some way in a Scooby-Doo-like fashion. They get free, but in some sort of not in how they plan to get free. They get free in some zany part of their plan goes wrong, and they end up getting free. Just like how the Scooby-Doo plans ended up working, but in the wrong way. Well, that's how they get free at the end of each episode. They get free, but not in the way they. This particular Butch Hartman show lasted from 2010 to 2015 for 3 seasons and 60 episodes, and eventually got canceled after 3 seasons. This is Bunsen is a Beast, his last show for Nickelodeon before he left in 2017. It also only lasted for 1 season from 2016 to 2017, the 2016-2017 season. It's about a boy that goes to school with this boy Beast that is called a Beast, but he's really like a Whoville character come to life. He just looks like a beast. He's not really a monster. He just kind of has a Cookie Monster-esque Sesame Street monster type of, that's his title. He's best friends with his best friend, and they're both looked upon as outcasts at school because of their both goofiness and whatnot. But I liked the show personally, but it got canceled because of ratings, because everybody else didn't like it. That's it for today's video. Join me next Friday for History of Cartoons episode 34 about this man right here, Craig Bartlett. And to be more helpful about joining me next Friday, remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit the notification bell so you'll know about my Craig Bartlett video next week. And all my other videos every Friday and Sunday at 10. And this is the thumbnail for next week's video. Also, remember to follow me on my Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, and TikTok, and Facebook fan group, Drew's YouTube fan group. The links will be in the comments.